Before the video starts, I need to explain myself. I've uploaded this video 5 times in a single day for one reason. Every time I've uploaded this video, I've had a copyright claim from Nintendo. I've talked to my network and they let me know that Nintendo is awful about YouTube. They do not let you upload any footage from any game or any trailer, and it's to their own detriment. The reason this video is still going up is because I spent time on it and I feel confident in the format. Everything except for what you're seeing visually. In order to get this video uploaded without any copyright issues, I had to make it essentially a slideshow. So you're going to be watching 5-second little snippets that are contextually, relevant to what I'm saying. But please understand that this is not a representation of what you'll see on this channel. This is a PowerPoint slideshow, whereas you will see a lot more visually pleasing content here on the channel, anything that is not Nintendo. Nintendo dominated the headlines when it revealed the trailer for Nintendo Switch, its new flagship console. The announcement excited a lot of people, confused others, and everything in between. Hey guys, JV here sharing my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch. What is this thing? What market is Nintendo going after with this anything but traditional console? How much money should we expect this console to cost us at launch? Let's break down that reveal. Right from the beginning, Nintendo showed us that this can be a traditional console. It can be played on a couch in a traditional console setting, just like you could with previous Nintendo consoles and the Xbox and PlayStation. Then we saw almost immediately that the Switch is also a mobile console that can be played entirely on the tablet portion away from the couch, away from the big screen TV. This concept is very familiar, of course, because we had a similar thing going on with Wii U. However, the big distinction here is that Wii U had a leash. You had to stay relatively close to that little console. However, it seems like with the Switch, the actual thing that you pick up and the tablet that you're looking at is the console itself. Switch goes even further to announce co-op mobile console gameplay. You can have multiple players on the same device. You can actually take off the side parts of this console and flip them over, turning them into tiny controllers and play with your friends. Unfortunately, if you don't have hands the size of a small child, then this is going to be a bit of an issue if you actually want to take advantage of this, but I certainly understand the appeal. We see that the Switch can also connect with another Switch that is nearby, and they're actually able to play together, which is something we've seen on the Nintendo 3DS. In terms of comparing the Switch to any other console or platform that we've seen before for video games, this is really hard. This is an entirely new beast, and that's very Nintendo. What this does remind me of is the Nvidia Shield and the Razer Edge Pro tablets. These are mobile devices that seek to give you a PC-like experience on the go. But again, I don't think you can slip these into a dock and just easily transition from playing mobile to playing on your couch at home in a traditional console setting. This also reminds me of the game's Vanguard, which is a portable briefcase that includes a TV and you can fit your PS4 or Xbox One in the same product, and that gave you the mobile console experience. To me, the Switch is a lot cleaner, it's a lot more focused, and I think that's because it's coming from Nintendo themselves. A lot of people don't like the name Switch, but I think it perfectly describes what this product is, and it makes a whole lot of sense. I am worried about the amount of plastic involved in this product, the removable parts. I hope that after taking these little controllers out and putting them back in, that this thing is not going to fall apart. What kept my attention the most is the huge amount of third-party developers making games for the Switch. Of course, we saw Bethesda and Skyrim in the trailer, but Nintendo posted this gigantic list of independent developers that are going to be making games or already making games for the Switch. This is huge. This means there's going to be a lot more games for this Nintendo console, and that is way different than the way Nintendo handled things in the past. Specifically, Wii U had a lack of games at launch, and I'm hoping that Nintendo learned from this and will have a solid launch lineup. Again, the idea for this console and the portability is extremely original. It's very novel, but they need to have the games to drive those console sales. Which brings me to the question, who is the Nintendo Switch for? Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, this is a big question for them when they're designing these products, and I think it's safe to say that the Nintendo Switch is consumer-friendly by design. People are always on the go, they always have places to be, and it makes complete sense, especially if you look at from a broad perspective. Somebody very smart and probably very rich recognized that and then made a product to fix that problem. I think this is another example of us moving towards that, but taking that idea and saying, we want a full console experience that is portable, that is mobile. To me, that's what the Switch is, and because of that, it appeals to a very broad audience, and it makes sense. I think the main challenge for Nintendo is to appeal to core gamers. Why do core gamers want a console with portability? And I'll use myself as an example. I don't play any games outside of my PC and consoles. I do not play any mobile games at all. On the other hand, I have friends that will sit in front of their console and play Clash Royale or whatever silly game, and I have no idea why. I'm sure there are others like that, and there are some that are just like me, and I think the Switch needs to convince the stubborn core gamer that just wants to play at home with great graphics. When Switch is plugged into its dock, it needs to have graphics that will compete with Xbox One and PlayStation 4 at the very least. We know that Switch is going to run on a custom NVIDIA Tegra processor. And according to NVIDIA, this is a high-efficiency, scalable processor that includes a GPU based on the same architecture as the world's top-performing graphics cards. Obviously, the jury is still out on the performance of this console, and Nintendo has said that they're not doing anything more for the Switch until 2017. But when plugged in, if this thing can pump out similar graphics to what I can get out of a 1060 in a desktop at home, that is something to talk about. That is a real accomplishment. On the flip side, if Project Scorpio comes out fall of next year, just 6 months after the Switch launch, and blows it out of the water graphically, that could be a real problem for Nintendo's console. But overall, Switch to me appeals to nostalgic gamers that grew up playing Nintendo games, people with busy schedules, kids that are going to school, they want to play on the go, or, somehow sneak that in when they're at school. This appeals to 9 to 5 working adults that have a commute, that maybe take a train and want to play on the go. Maybe they fly a lot and want to play on the plane. This definitely appeals to them. And not to mention the casual crowd and the new adopters, the people that have never owned a gaming console before, that just play Candy Crush on their phone. This is a really appealing product. All right, how much is this thing going to be? I think the price for the Switch depends almost entirely on graphical fidelity, because we already know what this console offers. It offers extreme portability. If that's the big gimmick, the big drawing point, the thing that's going to make people go out and buy this console, then we need to know what the graphical fidelity will be like when you're at home on your couch versus when you're, playing on the go. If I had to make a prediction, I would say if the graphics compete with current gen PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One S games, I see the Switch coming out at $400 in March. I've heard rumors that they're going to sell it at different storage levels, so I would say the baseline one's probably $400 and then the larger one is $450. I don't see it being $500, but hey, we'll see. However, if the graphics are a step below the competition and the focus is truly on broad appeal and getting this out to as many gamers as possible, I see this being $300. Nintendo has a track record of releasing consoles that are a little bit below the competition, and that could make the most sense for Nintendo in terms of sales. If the Switch is a good product that can stand up on its own, then having it cheaper will mean more console sales than if it were more expensive, and more game sales as a result. Either way, this console needs to have launch titles. Absolutely, Nintendo needs to learn from the mistake of Wii U. We need to expect Breath of the Wild in March when the Switch comes out, and maybe the new Super Mario that we maybe saw in the trailer. Are you planning to buy the Nintendo Switch when it comes out early next year? As a core gamer, I'm really on the fence about it, but strong launch titles could convince me big time. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for new videos here on my channel every few days. You can follow me on Twitter at JV2017 if you want to stay up to date on my videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.